For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
We have some very sad news involving a 7-year-old male. Also coming up in the broadcast, the need for someone to admonish reporters. And there's been another shooting. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the YouTube channel. My name is Timothy Poleon. We'll be together until 2 o'clock this afternoon, and I'll be going through some of your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And I said some of your calls because, unfortunately, on many occasions, I cannot accept all of your calls. I think yesterday, no exaggeration, we must have missed at least 50 calls and a lot of your WhatsApp messages, so my apologies to you. I will try to do my utmost best today. And of course, I will attempt to go through some of the comments in the chat room. A very sad news. A news of a 7-year-old resident of Monkey Town, and that is part of Cicero. And he went missing yesterday, I'm told, and unfortunately, when he was recovered, when he was found, he was lifeless. And his lifeless body would have been discovered, I think, in a pond or a river sometime today. And no doubt his family would be experiencing a lot of grief right now and definitely a lot of sorrow. We'd like to extend sympathies to them because obviously one does not expect that a 7-year-old was gone missing would be found dead, but that is what a family is going through as we speak. So just to share some information with you, devastating end to the search for 7-year-old Neki Poleon, who was reported missing yesterday, has left the community of Cicero Castries in shock. The young boy, a student of the Cicero Combined Primary School, was found dead in a river near his home this morning. And Neki was last seen on September the 10th, that's yesterday, by neighbors who urged him to return home before his father arrived from work. His father described coming home that day to find the door open, his son's school shoes and bag left behind, but no sign of Neki. I left work around 3:30 p.m., and when I arrived home, I saw his school things, but noticed he had changed into his house clothes. Neighbors said they saw him, but told him to go home because the father was coming back soon. Also, some more information. Despite hours of searching that night, Neki remained missing. Concerns quickly grew as family members, fearing the worst, discovered his blue slippers near a river in Monkey Town, an area Neki frequented to watch pigs near a pen. His father, who had repeatedly warned him to stay away from the area, was gripped by fear. So once again, condolences to the family of this 7-year-old. And more tragic news. Fortunately, we cannot report that this individual succumbed to any injuries, but there was yet another shooting. And this shooting occurring this morning, that's over in Kako, Babano. And the victim identified as Gibson Isidore, and he was shot and taken to hospital. So yet another shooting occurring on the island of St. Lucia, and we do not have an update to share with you, but we hope that this individual will not succumb to his injuries, and this will only emphasize the need for the authorities to work diligently towards finding a solution to this problem and bring it under some level of control. You know, it's as if you wake up and you tune in to the various newscasts, and lunchtime you tune into NewsSpin, and you hear of there's been a bombing in a section of the Middle East, or maybe on the Gaza Strip, and a couple people have been killed or injured, etc. You expect that. But to reach a stage in St. Lucia where you expect that there will be shooting incidents and either a couple people would be injured or a couple people would be killed as a result, it is unacceptable. It is very, very sad, and it says something about us as a society. We have not taken responsibility for our actions, and also taken responsibility for the welfare of our country, St. Lucia. Which begs the question again. It cannot be a situation where we are saying to the wider St. Lucian society, take responsibility for what happens in the country. If you do that, you run the risk of people doing as they please. There will be chaos, there will be disorder, and there could even be anarchy. In most societies, in most institutions, in a community, in a school setting, in the household, there must be order. And it cannot be a situation where you leave things to individuals. You must have the head of a household. You must have a principal at a learning institution. You have a police commissioner in charge of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force acting. You have somebody at the helm of the Body Lake Correctional Facility. You have an individual who is responsible for tourism in St. Lucia, so therefore they put various policies and guidelines so that the sector can be properly managed and regulated. In a sporting organization, you have the president, you have a general secretary, etc. And people have to account. Financial institutions, you have a managing director, you have supervisors, you have the teller, etc. In the case of a country, in the case of a nation, some cases you have a president. Then you have a titular president in some cases. You have a governor general. And then you have a prime minister. I know every time I say prime minister, there are some people who either shudder, or they become very upset. That is because their party is in office. And I'm always making reference to their leader, not the leader of the country. They see it from the perspective of the political leader of the SLP I'm making reference to. I'm not making reference to the political leader of the SLP. I'm making reference to the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. And he might be seen as a god to party hacks of the SLP. And what I mean by that, might be seen as a god to the extent that he is beyond criticism. But at the level of the state, when you're responsible for a country, you're responsible for those who are your political opponents, those who do not support you, those who support you. You're responsible for children, middle-aged people, adults. You're responsible for their safety. And that, no doubt, is a huge responsibility that you have. And if you know for a fact that you're not up to the challenge at hand, you ought first not to present yourself to take on that huge responsibility. Or if you get in, you are overwhelmed, you give up. For your own sake, for the sake of the country, for your reputation, and also so that somebody else who's better equipped can take over the reins, as would happen in any institution. If you're not equipped, if you're not up to the challenge, somebody else. Bringing in somebody else, etc., and to see what they have to offer. Irrespective of the excuses that some of you will make, I don't think anyone can honestly mount a podium, call a talk show, converse with their friends, and say that things are being properly managed in St. Lucia. You might not want to blame anyone. Don't do that. Don't blame anyone. But let us all agree that there's a dearth of quality leadership in this country that has resulted in a lot of things going awry. In a lot of things not being properly attended to. And you could feel it. And it happens every now and then in our country. When all of a sudden, you have so many crashes and collisions, then you have drownings on one side, then you have homicides, you have acts of indiscipline in the education system on the part of students. Healthcare is a mess. What does it boil down to? Do you think those things are happening on their own? The disintegration in any society is as a result of natural causes, or God wants it so. And therefore, we ought to bide our time and wait for some kind of divine intervention. Is that what it is? Clearly not. It is all about leadership. And St. Lucia is a dot on the map. Small island, small territory, with tremendous challenges. But do not tell me that we do not have it within us to satisfactorily address those issues. Not so that we become a paradise to the extent we have no homicides, we have no break-ins, we have no crashes and collisions on our roads, etc. But we need some semblance of stability in our country. And unfortunately, our leaders are not speaking our language. You know, watching that debate last evening between Kamala Harris and former President Trump, they were speaking from various perspectives and to their advantage. But I think in the main, they were not focusing on the issues that are important to the American people. And inflation is one such issue. The high cost of living is one such issue. The fact that you have so many people, you have so many mass shootings occurring in the United States. That's a big issue. That's a lingering issue. And the same obtains in St. Lucia. Just listen to the House of Assembly sitting yesterday. Listen to the Senate. And those people are not speaking our language in terms of what is impacting us in this country. And that is what we need to do in unison, so that our leaders will understand that they cannot delude us into thinking that crime is not a major issue. It's not an issue of immense concern to us, that we need to address it. You cannot exist in an environment where those shootings are so rife, so commonplace, that somebody's having breakfast, they receive a call, your brother just got shot. And previous to that, it was the same thing of somebody getting a call, a friend or a sibling got shot. And at that time, imagine that you could only pray that your relative or your friend does not succumb to their injuries. And in those communities, you have parliamentary representatives. You don't want to hear that. You have parliamentary representatives. And it is your responsibility to ensure that your constituents are safe. If you do not want to look at it from the perspective of St. Lucia as a whole, look at it from the constituency level. So, Kako Babono, a shooting here, a shooting there, nearly every other day. What is the rep doing? What is the parliamentary representative doing? She fought hard, she campaigned, and she won. Isn't it not to represent the interest of her constituents? And what is she doing about the crime problem? Is it okay? Is it sufficient to hear those things happen? I am not a police officer. I was never a police officer. I used to be a teacher. So we'll try. Let us listen to the Prime Minister of this country, a National Security Minister, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, just to refresh your memory, what he said yesterday amidst all the crime that is occurring in this country, the serious crimes manifesting themselves primarily in those shooting incidents, resulting in at least, 60 homicides already for this year, making reference to what happens in Ottawa and London, etc.
You heard about the crime escalation in Toronto, Canada, where our solution was just murdered, a 15-year-old. We heard about the crime problems in London, England, where there are riots and gangs. In fact, only this morning I read about the increase in gangs, the gang situation in England. We heard about the situation in the CARICOM countries. So it's not an easy situation.
Folks at the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, you heard the National Security Minister You heard him referencing London and Ottawa with regard to what is happening in this country. And before I end my commentary, I will leave the lines open. I hope I could hear something from someone. I will not hold my breath. From the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce on the crime problem in this country. You can call, if you care to, a member of the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, the president of the chamber, the executive director of the chamber, at 452-2979. Call right now if you care to. Or WhatsApp 716-2026. And why I'm doing that? Putting them on the spot. Do you care primarily about dollars and cents? Do you care primarily about the profits that you can make? Is that what you're primarily concerned about? Aren't you concerned about the chaos that is a way of life in St. Lucia right now as far as crime is concerned? And I know many of you watching and listening to this broadcast right now, you definitely can hark back to a period when it appeared that the folks at the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture had a conscience. Because even when you did not have so many radio stations and so many talk shows and television stations, etc., they made their presence felt. Press statements were issued. At the time, the dominant media outlet, broadcasting outlet, would have been RSL. So 1 o'clock news, you hear the president of the Chamber of Commerce speaking on a particular issue. You'd have read The Voice, front page, photograph of the president of the chamber, comments being made, suggestions being made, concern being expressed, whether it's The Voice, The Star, or The Mirror. In those newspapers, commentary as well. So it would appear that I will conclude my commentary and we will not hear from any official of the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce. We will not hear from any official of the St. Lucia Christian Council. You guys really care about St. Lucia? You don't. You don't. Because, to put it bluntly, you're afraid that you're going to offend the government of the day. You're afraid that you are going to offend the Philip J. Pierre administration. So in a sense, we are on autopilot. And I'm getting a call via WhatsApp, but it's not from a chamber official. It's from a former police officer. You're out of place, sir. I don't expect your call right now. I want to hear from an official from the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, or from the St. Lucia Christian Council. And I will continue in this vein because of your deafening silence. I don't think you care about the people of this country, particularly the chamber. Because I know that when things are affecting you, you come forward, you issue press releases, you speak. But in this case, with the crime problem in this country and the bad management that is taking place in so many areas, you discuss it quietly behind closed doors. And let us see, Mr. Producer, whether somebody is calling from the chamber on the landline. And if that person is from the chamber, we'll engage them. If not, we will curtail that call or just cut it off. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Tim?
No. You're from the Chamber of Commerce?
No.
Okay. Nighton from Oplita. Pavlitan from Wachol, Makulid. I put it low, but low must have only low. With Afrishiko, Eknukai Pali. Me Pachol, na SP, aso How this in Patois? Sham Commerce. The St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture. You're operating in St. Lucia. The members have businesses in this country. And in any environment, what is required for business to take place is that there must be some level of stability. Can you imagine in Trinidad and Tobago, you have so many killings and you're not hearing from the Chamber of Commerce there? And I read the Express and the Guardian newspaper out of TNT very often. And very often I could tell you, private sector interests to comment on things that are happening in the country. And the same obtains in Jamaica and Barbados. Do we have a manufacturers association in St. Lucia? I guess not. Because the voices you're hearing, mainly ordinary St. Lucians who are calling to this broadcast and who are complaining about the fact that crime is out of hand. Not getting there. It is out of hand. It is out of control. It has reached an unacceptable level. And what we continue to receive, lip service and excuses from an individual with the title of Prime Minister and National Security Minister. Let's listen from a caller. Somebody who called the program yesterday and made reference to the Prime Minister, National Security Minister, always reminding us that he was never a police officer.
When Pierre tells you, oh, Philip is not, I'm not his responsible for him, I'm not a police officer, you know, where's the complaint? Why are the lady? No, that's you, dude. That is you, Pierre. You have to call your home affairs minister and tell her, in less than 3 weeks, I want you to give me something on my desk for the policy for when there's harassment in the schools. You call a meeting with your people and you ensure that they get the job done. Oh, I'm not a police officer. I can't do anything about crime. Of course you can. You can ensure whoever you make the minister is capable. That young fella can't do anything about crime. The police looking at Nathan going like, that's a take caller. That's what's going to happen because he has not yet developed the clout that he needs to even get these people to listen to him.
You heard about the crime escalation in Toronto, Canada, where our solution was just murdered, a 15-year-old. We heard about the crime problems in London, England, where there are riots and gangs. In fact, only this morning I read about the increase in gangs, the gang situation in England. We heard about the situation in the CARICOM countries. So it's not an easy situation.
All right, just so there's the National Security Minister and Prime Minister. Before him, you heard from a caller to our program yesterday. But you listened to the Prime Minister, and just imagine if he were the leader of the opposition, what he would be saying right now. Would he make in reference to Ottawa and London, what's happening in those places? And it's not a political issue, you know. This is not a political issue. We just want our leaders to account and stop making excuses. You have a responsibility to the people of this country for their safety, for their well-being. Stop making excuses. Healthcare, problems in healthcare, you make an excuse. Crime, you make an excuse. If there are problems with the performance of the economy, you will make an excuse. Man, own up to the responsibility that you have certainly taken up. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. A call on the landline. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Hi, Timothy.
Good afternoon, sir. Are you from the chamber?
No, I'm not.
Okay. What's in your mind?
Okay. We have a little situation going on in East Wings, Marisol. There's this young lady. I think she works in a hotel, and she has this little car that could just not reach at her home because the road is so freaking bad inside of there. So she parks the car to the top of the road, and no matter what time she leaves work, she would have to walk down. And on Saturday, she got robbed. She got robbed as soon as she stepped out of the vehicle to lock her vehicle. She stepped out of the vehicle and she was walking down. Two guys came with cutlasses. They robbed her. They took her bag, her phone, and they left. When now I usually am in my balcony and I can see the road from, where she parks her car, and I can see there are a few trees blocking her on the road going down to her home. But when I kind of saw her coming down the road, I called my wife, and she was just not herself, and she was crying. And I asked her what happened to her. She told me two guys just robbed her, took her things. So I asked her if she wanted me to call the police. She said no. And I didn't get what she said at the time when she said no to me, but after it made sense, because when the police comes, what exactly are they going to do? What exactly are they going to do? So I drove a little higher.
But caller, irrespective, I think we should call the police. We should seek their intervention. They are the supposed experts.
To do what?
They're the ones who are hired. I mean,
to do what? To come and tell you that it will be investigated. They, if they get any leads, they will reach out to you 3 years later, maybe, if you get a call from them. To do what exactly?
If you don't call the police, well, the chances of catching those criminals would be nil compared to the probability increasing if you make a report.
Catch anybody. She just wanted her valuables back. So we drove down. We drove down, and just past the resort, we got the bag between some trees. We got the bag. It had the car keys. They took the wallet. She had some money in it. They took it, but she got most of her things back. But what I'm trying to draw, the message I'm trying to draw is, the road is so bad. She has to park her vehicle to the top and walk down no matter what time. And it's a road. I mean, all of us, we have pickups and we have SUVs and we can traverse the road easily. But she has this one little car, and a few times she would come down and I would have to be the one to bring it up for her. And we've approached the ministry. People have come out. They came out. They took measurements. They did what they usually do, but nothing has been done.
Luckily, caller, luckily she was not hurt. Fortunately, yeah.
Voila. I'm saying we just need somebody. If that ministry can come and just grade the road so a vehicle, a car can just come down that road. Just grade it. We're not even asking for concrete or tarmac or anything. We're not even asking for that. Just come and just grade the road so we can have some access. The people that cannot go down can actually, if there's an emergency, an ambulance cannot go down there, it can go down, but it will not be able to go out. In 2024, an ambulance will be able to go down, but it will not be able to go up. That is how bad it is. Okay? Have yourself a good day.
You too, sir. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says, Tim, I'm from Marsha. We only have STEP. We need programs to re-educate our youth. Tim, Marsha, finish. Let's take another call. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
Tim, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
Not too bad, sir. Holding on. One thing we feel really passionate.
I heard you making reference to NewsSpin on another talk show, and you're saying there are some talk shows that are the most monitored, right? I heard you. But anyway, continue, sir.
About our woman, right?
Use kuto de lang. No. Use kuto de lang.
How you mean?
How I mean? Ou asul late l'autant avant l'autant. You on earth long enough to know what I said there. Couteau de lang, ça is how you.
I always give you your praise, but let me just say that the chamber would not call you, Tim.
Yeah.
They would not call you. The chamber need permission somewhere, and any person who work within the chamber would not call you. The person that should be called is the president of the Chambers Association. That is the head that will call you. Now, you know why they would not call you. You said it. But I don't know. Yesterday I listened to you, almost the very same preamble, similar to today, from yesterday to today. And I listened to you there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Mr. Poleon, I don't know. You deserve a trophy.
Guys, I hope it's not coming from you. No. Ou pas mauvais, ou juste un couteau de langue.
I'm a straightforward person. I make you understand what it is.
Ou filer tous les deux sides là. Na couteau.
What I want to say this afternoon, Mr. Poleon, those persons that are getting killed, I know not all of them have been a member of the United Workers' Party, nor St. Lucia Labour Party. Those young persons, I know a lot of them. They are maybe some Labour, some Flower.
No, let's put it this way. A lot of those people sometimes don't even care about politics.
Well, they don't care, but then I know some, maybe their family, whatever, their parents.
And that doesn't even matter.
Okay. But I don't know. The appeal have been over, and when you have a prime minister, I want to compare England, Canada, and that. If you have a situation like what we have in a country like United Kingdom in England, let me tell you, my brother, that would not go like that, you know. All heads, everybody, when it comes to law enforcement, will be active and business, you know. It will not be business as usual. Wake up every day to where somebody shot in St. Lucia, you know. That will happen, and that is where he said this is not. But he should have taken a page from those civilized countries who does not want to see the reputation of the country go down, you know. Today, every now and then, we can bet our money we have a shooting. How are those nurses, those doctors, how are they feeling at those hospitals? Especially to treat, especially if the person maybe injured or wounded or in the leg or whatever. How are they feel? Are they not enough, patriot enough to tell the government one or the other, we tired of treating injured people at the hospital with gunshot wound? Huh? Where are they? And they are the one, you on a talk show, you talk about they are the one that are treating those persons that have been got shot. Am I right?
Correct, sir.
They have a responsibility, Mr. Poleon. The nurses, the doctors, and name it, the first aid, the responders, the ambulance. I can imagine it for these fellas. Have these fellas have somebody to counsel them when the day is over? Huh? To see that every day they have to pick up injured person with gunshot wound. Are we serious with how we run in that country? You say, is St. Lucia become a club now? No. You have, is a very same group, you know, in Viewfort. Viewfort, what was the group name in Viewfort? The Citizens Coalition, whatever it was. And when that crime escalated, right now, Viewfort, well, let me say it's a little quiet now. But when that thing happened in Viewfort, you had nothing from them. Nothing. And you mentioned a name, I think, 1 or 2 weeks ago on your show. This fellas was the one, you know, who had Kenyan on the neck, carrying everywhere. And Viewfort was named right in the nose as an escalation, as a crime escalation zone, whatever it is. And they say nothing. So can you imagine the chamber would not say anything because it's all about the money, but chamber, if the chamber is not affected, those young persons that are working in the chambers of commerce every day, they are feeling it by even traveling the road, whether it is on foot or vehicle or on buses, because they at any given time they can get shot and killed. And the chamber is supposed to know that. You don't step on the feet of the government as a leader of the chamber. You don't step on them. As a member of the Christian Council, you don't step. You want to tell the government things are just not right in St. Lucia. You have cricket World Cup in St. Lucia. Oh, it's nice. Last night when I watched CPL, you could see the crowd. Can those person when they left Darren Sammy Stadium believe that they were guaranteed that they can reach home safe? Chances are they may not. And you want to promote, imagine Carnival has not even started yet, but already plans have been making next year for Carnival. Can you imagine the policy of this party, where they concern it's all about their money, and they don't give a damn rat damn about what happened to St. Lucian? Right now, my brother, law-abiding citizens have had enough. They have been protected, both government and everybody. The people of St. Lucia right now are being urged to take every precautionary measure as to where they go, who came at the home and you don't invite them. Once person come at your home, you don't invite them. You have a chance to react. They can say what you want to take law in your own hand. You have a right to protect, to defend your children. You would not allow to be overrun at your home. That is what we are seeing now. The police officers cannot protect nobody right now in St. Lucia. Even when you make a report to the police, you hear what the police telling you. Garçon, on full, partner. If the man curse you, the man slap you, lucky the man not kill you. You can just go home and feel irate. But the next time you can never know what is going to happen to you. So that is the situation we have right now. And I don't want nobody to tell me government cannot solve crime or cannot put and breaks into that. So over the time we are in the last days, perilous time, crime will happen. But Jesus Christ fought a war with Satan. Christ fought a war. So all of us will walk the streets of castles with our hands on our head and pleading to criminals to give us a break to go out and shop. Come on, I mean, is that a 2024 country we are ruling there? And sadly, the National Security Minister continue to make excuses and refer to everywhere in the world that have crime instead he fix up his own yard, his own backyard. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Somebody says that, Tim, you're not going to hear from the chamber. The government is the largest procurer of goods and services in the country, and therefore they are not afraid to throw their weight around. And continuing, however, members of the chamber privately speak about the fear that if they speak out, they will not get their share of the very limited pie. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin. An ambassador at large has been appointed. We'll hear all about it in just a moment, including more of our conversation and, of course, your discussions in the chat room.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
just a flick of the wrist.
The CPL action lives at KFC as we add an exciting new item to our menu. Introducing the King's Box. The King's Box includes 5 dipping wings undipped, 1 piece of chicken, 1 regular fries, and a 16-ounce soda for only $20. Purchase a King's Box for a chance to win VIP and regular tickets to the King's cricket matches in St. Lucia, KFC vouchers, and other prizes. Participation is simple. Simply sign your name and number on your King's Box receipt and place an entry box provided at all 5 locations. Promotion runs from August 1st to September 16th, 2024. Look out for pop-ups, photo-ops, and memorabilia sign-in from the Kings players at selected stores. The T20 action continues with KFC. Purchase a King's Box today and be on your way. KFC, finger-licking good.
Yes, into the crowd. 6 sixes and then over.
This is We Summer. Get ready for the biggest and wildest deals from Flow.
Summer comes with a message for ya. Switch it up, this is We Summer. Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Who got the best deals? It's Flow. Bundle postpaid Wi-Fi, you go. Cut a bill in half, save more for sure.
This is We Summer. Bundle broadband now with postpaid and get your bill cut in half. Plus, get up to 4 Samsung Galaxy smartphones for only $4.
50,000 in cash is that. 15,000 in cash, win that.
Win $15,000 in cash when you sign up, switch up, top up, or pay up with Flow.
Summer, Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Flow, keeping you connected. Terms and conditions apply.
It is well known by all solution professional tradesmen and even homeowners that European-made tools are the best. Well, guess what? Europa Hardware is having a massive promotion on the Metabo brand of power tools. From impact drills to angle grinders, jigsaws to rotary hammers, sanders and hot air guns. All at unbeatable, jaw-dropping prices. Don't let your tools let you down. Come to Europa and stay standing with a proud in-the-hand tool from Metabo. Call us at 452-0763 or visit us in Massat Grosile. Europa, we service what we sell.
Don't miss out on the biggest sale of the year at Palace House. Everything must go. Half off and less on everything. But that's not all. We also offer wholesale prices on a variety of items and souvenirs, perfect for vendors and retail needs. Visit us today at Mikut Street, Castries, or call us at 452-2250. Don't miss out on the biggest sale of the year at Palace House.
It's coming. The brunch of the century. Welcome to Sunburnt. 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 It's coming.
The CPL is back for 2024, and the St. Lucia Kings are hunting for their first title. This year, it will be the best ever CPL, with global superstars, massive sixes, and incredible entertainment at the biggest party in sport. There are 4 games between September 7th and 15th. Get your tickets now at cplt20.com. Turn it up and experience cricket played louder.
The gold standard in healthcare. This fully GE certified MRI provides top quality, detailed images detecting any illness including tumors and cancers of the brain and spine. We also offer the ultimate in ultrasound technology. There is absolutely no need to travel overseas for these services. Exercise your right to a second opinion before any complex medical procedure. La Clinique du Corps puts you in direct contact with top medical specialists from Martinique and France, known internationally for prioritizing patients' health. Call La Clinique du Corps in Castries or Cocoville, Rodney Bay at 451-6559 and make your appointment today.
I've seen your hair before, and I have something special just for you. What have we here? Happy housewarming to me? That's the MNC Home Depot Rewards Card. You'll earn points every time you shop, plus exclusive savings and promotions just for you. Just for me? Yes, just for you. Shop in store or online and enjoy a seamless experience. So I get to treat myself every time I shop? Exactly. It's time to reward yourself.
MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Rewards Card.
At
Caribbean Pastouche Limited. We offer high-quality products from Martinique, and our ready mix is made with casting sand, not regular pumice. Compared to regular pumice, casting sand saves you in your cement use. At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, our materials come from porcelain stones, which is used as an additive in creating cement. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexar, behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
Certain events at the Caribbean Development Bank, Mr. Speaker, that I hope never happen again in the history of this region, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I am not saying so because the person involved was the Solution National. I hope no one will ever go through what happened to the president of the bank, Mr. Speaker, recently. And whereas, Mr. Speaker, I support the bank, I will give my fullest support to the operations of the bank. The bank is a regional institution that has been led by prominent people, including solutions, Mr. Speaker. Never again, Mr. Speaker, must we, as governments, allow what happened in the bank last year. Or earlier this year. Never again, Mr. Speaker. I wouldn't go into, I've had my piece on that, Mr. Speaker. I will not say anything more on that matter. But it was a shame, Mr. Speaker. It was a shame. It was a disgrace for us to put an embarrassment, for us to put a global technocrat, a man of such high reputation, Mr. Speaker, to put him through what we put him through, we put him through in the bank over the last few months, Mr. Speaker. And I'm proud to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that the Cabinet of Ministers has agreed that this gentleman is of such high value that we have appointed him an ambassador at large for the people of St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. We cannot allow that talent to go waste. We can't allow it, Mr. Speaker. We can't allow it.
Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for finance, Philip J. Pierce, speaking during a sitting of the House of Assembly yesterday. Now, Dr. Jean Leon, former president of the CDB, is a St. Lucian. And he was elected at a special meeting of the CDB Board of Governors on the 19th of January 2021, and that is for a 5-year term, and assumed office on May the 4th of that same year. But there's some issue. He was sent home suddenly, and the CDB claimed that they were conducting certain investigations, and they confirmed about 2 months ago that they had concluded their internal administrative process. And so the issue lingered, and then Mr. Dr. Leon subsequently resigned. That is in April of this year. But his lawyers have written to the CDB, and they're hoping to settle whatever issue that they have amicably. We don't know. In fact, let me speak for myself. I don't know what transpired between Dr. Jean Leon and the CDB. I don't know what transpired, which resulted in them asking him to take a leave of absence and subsequently deciding that they have conducted internal administrative process and therefore given the impression they did not need his services anymore, resulting in his resignation. But I believe that before such an appointment was made by the Cabinet of Ministers, that is, appointing him ambassador at large, the authorities here should want to know what really transpired. That's what happens in the private sector. What really transpired, why you left your job or why you had to leave your job, etc. We just want to know before we can move forward. The other issue is this post of ambassador at large. The only definition I could come for this explanation, an ambassador at large is a diplomat, a secretary, or a minister of the highest rank who is accredited to represent the country and its people internationally. Is there a vacancy for the post of ambassador at large? Do we need an ambassador at large right now in St. Lucia? What will it cost the taxpayers of St. Lucia? Those questions are being posed to the finance minister, Mr. Philip J. Pierre. Because I don't think we should be appointing an ambassador at large just because we're claiming that he has some special talents and therefore we should not have an individual who have such skills to just be there lingering. So we need to give him a job. How will we benefit from that appointment? Because if you're going to pay Dr. Jean Leon, let's just imagine, $10,000 a month to be our ambassador at large, how much will it bring in to the coffers, the treasury of St. Lucia? In other words, how are we going to benefit from his expertise, Mr. Prime Minister? It's just on a whim that you decided that just because he has lost his job at the CDB, let's appoint him. Those are explanations that we expect from the Prime Minister. And provide that explanation, rationalize the decision for appointing Dr. Jean Leon to the people of this country. Because we just heard it yesterday from the St. Lucian leader in the island's parliament. There was never a vacancy for ambassador at large. And that's all I will say on this matter. It's not me taking a personal swipe at anyone, including Dr. Jean Leon. Very proud. When you read and you listen to the news and you hear that Dr. Jean Leon, a former official of the International Monetary Fund, he was on secondment to the government of Jamaica for several years, and then he becomes the president of the CDB, you're proud and you're happy. And I had the pleasure of interviewing Dr. Jean Leon once on this same broadcast, NewsSpin. And the same would have obtained several years ago when you would have read in the newspapers, whether it's the Barbados Nation newspaper or some other newspaper, that one Dr. Kenny Anthony headed the law faculty of the University of the West Indies. You feel proud as a St. Lucian. So I have nothing against Dr. Jean Leon. But I just believe it should be rationalized. If we're talking about a guava season, we have no money, we can't give the police the dogs, for the canine unit. All we have is Tyson. We need at least 3 more dogs, etc., to complete that unit. Rationalize, explain, not to me, but to the people of St. Lucia, why you decided to appoint Dr. Jean Leon as an ambassador at large. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Timothy, a pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. PW on the line, Timothy. Timothy, did you listen a few weeks ago when Ernest Hilaire addressed the Chamber of Commerce, Timothy?
I heard a little of it, a little.
Timothy, I was watching this press conference he had explaining.
Was it a press conference or an address?
Well, an address, the address, to be more specific. And he was explaining the CIP program to the Chamber of Commerce. And you can see on the faces of members of the Chamber of Commerce, Timothy, that they are looking at him and saying to themselves, Timothy, that is this man real? They didn't even believe a word he said.
Can you read minds?
And I know that, Timothy.
No. Let's be real. Don't call this program and say, I mean, just looking at the people and the impression in their minds, they did not believe what he said. No, call it. That doesn't make sense.
Timothy.
It does not make sense.
I have spoken to two members of the Chamber of Commerce. I will not say their names. And they know that whatever he was saying, it doesn't add up, Timothy. And I can say to you that even after his address, Timothy, that the Chamber of Commerce didn't even have, at least a press conference of their own, would address the St. Lucian public on what their take about the CIP program. So when you expect the Chamber of Commerce to call, Timothy, they will not call, Timothy. I believe they're afraid to rock the boat, and they know what's going on, Timothy, and they don't want to rock the boat, especially the boat of the St. Lucia Labour Party, Timothy. Timothy, also, I listened to your program earlier this week when Rick Wayne made reference to that there is no place on the island that you can go and celebrate or with valuable information on our heroes, on the heroes of St. Lucia, the icons, Timothy. He made reference also, one of the persons that is making a great effort was Margot at the St. Lucia Archives. But as you know, that with what is going on in sports at the moment, Julian Alfred has certainly put St. Lucia on the highest pedestal that any athlete in the history of St. Lucia can put St. Lucia on, Timothy. And this can be the genesis for a number of things. We, instead of these athletes going to open various foundations, like we have the Darren Sammy Foundation and so many other foundations, Timothy. We, the government of St. Lucia, we should think closely about this St. Lucia National Sports Hall of Fame. It's not a museum, it's a St. Lucia National Sports Hall of Fame. There are many athletes that have done this island justice. They have done so much for this island. Mindo Phillip, Darren Sammy, Johnson, Spencer, Julian Alfred. So the government should think, take a step forward and, we have the Sports Academy. Let us have a St. Lucia National Sports Hall of Fame. So all these athletes can be featured, can be placed into this Hall of Fame. We can read about them, their success, their journey, and everything. I mean, when you walk through the Marshall community, you see a number of heroes on that Mindo Phillip Park wall. We don't only want them there because the elements, the rain, the sun, in the next few years are going to beat up these paintings on the wall. We need a St. Lucia National Sports Hall of Fame so that we can feature all these athletes. The government needs to pump more money into such a thing I mean, we just cast our heroes and icons aside. I remember a few years ago we were trying to put together a Derek Walcott theater in Cap Estate. This lies in ruins at the moment. You understand? This lies in ruins, and there's no organizations, not even the National Trust was talking about, you understand, the Derek Walcott or museum, the Derek Walcott theater. You understand? They were talking about Alan Shastney trying to demolish the prison in Castries, the Royal Jail, but they didn't talk about the theater and the museum. I mean, we don't have a history of preserving things, Timothy. We need to get into the business of preserving things. Look at the Interpretation Center at Pigeon Island. It was a wonderful, beautiful, well-scripted Interpretation Center at Pigeon Island. What has happened to that Interpretation Center now? Even the one in the Sulphur Springs, Timothy, it has become so, we pay little attention to this interpretation center. If we cannot keep these interpretation centers looking, and with the history of this island, you understand, Timothy, you believe that we can keep a museum going, the government needs to do more. So I am saying, if the government is serious about sports tourism, we have to think of a St. Lucia National Sports Hall of Fame. Timothy, I thank you.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. In the WhatsApp, in the chat room, somebody says, Tim, it's clear that you can't understand the vision of Philip J. Pierre. You are talking about a financial expert in his own right. So the Prime Minister knows exactly what he is doing. Well, the Prime Minister knows exactly what he is doing. Does not mean that he's right, but the Prime Minister also needs to report to the people of St. Lucia. He can make his decisions, but explain his decisions, because we're just hearing him making disclosures to us via the Parliament of this country. Not necessarily issue a press release, but issue a statement, speak to the St. Lucian public. Yes, Dr. Jean Leon, well-known St. Lucian, financial expert, he's being made an ambassador at large. So many of our ambassadors, we're just getting to know about their appointment in the media. I'm just saying to you, the individual who wrote this in the chat room, this is not sufficient, and the Prime Minister certainly can do and ought to do better. Why you have so many PR people and you're not giving them anything to do? So en passant, you listen to Parliament, you listen to the House of Assembly sitting, and you hear the Prime Minister say, we can't allow this guy's talent to go to waste. Dr. Jean Leon, he is now ambassador at large. No explanation at all. All right, somebody has just, earlier on I made reference to Tyson, the dog that is now manning the K9 unit of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. And just being told, I don't know if it's true, that the authorities, they need a few euros, and that is to purchase food for Tyson from Martinique. You can't give Tyson fig and backs. You have to give Tyson what he's been accustomed to enjoying from Martinique. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. Still to come, we have some more of your calls and, of course, your WhatsApp messages. Maybe you might want to give me your take. If you watched it, the debate which took place in the U.S. between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
Good morning, students.
Good morning, teacher.
Let's head back to school.
It's time to get the children ready to head back to school with a back-to-school loan from First National Bank. Get up to $30,000 for all your back-to-school needs. No deposit required, low interest rates, and an easy process. Visit any First National Bank location or call 455-7127 for more information. Let's head back to school with First National Bank. Terms and conditions apply. First National Bank, here for you.
This is We Summer. Get ready for the biggest and wildest deals from Flow.
Summer comes with the best deals for ya. Switch it up, this is We Summer. Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Who got the best deals? It's Flow. Bundle postpaid Wi-Fi, you go. Cut your bill in half, save more for sure.
This is We Summer. Bundle broadband now with postpaid and get your bill cut in half. Plus, get up to 4 Samsung Galaxy smartphones for only $4.
15,000 in cash is that. 15,000 in cash, win that.
Win $15,000 in cash when you sign up, switch up, top up, or pay up with Flow.
Summer, Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Flow, keeping you connected. Terms and conditions apply.
6 more. Just a flick of the wrist.
The CPL action lives at KFC as we add an exciting new item to our menu. Introducing the King's Box. The King's Box includes 5 dipping wings undipped, 1 piece of chicken, 1 regular fries, and a 16-ounce soda for only $20. Purchase a King's Box for a chance to win VIP and regular tickets to the King's cricket matches in St. Lucia, KFC vouchers, and other prizes. Participation is simple. Simply sign your name and number on your King's Box receipt and place an entry box provided at all 5 locations. Promotion runs from August 1st to September 16th, 2024. Look out for pop-ups, photo-ops, and memorabilia sign-in from the King's players at selected stores. The T20 action continues with KFC. Purchase a King's Box today and be on your way. KFC, finger licking good.
Yes, into the crowd. 6 sixes and an over.
Gade mweti boy, pa fe la femela.
Stop all that smoke, fume and noise. Keep the emissions to zero and be a hero for the environment. You can still do all your lawn mowing, brush cutting, leaf blowing, hedge trimming, even chainsawing, but with a battery-powered machine. Europa is now offering a buy one get one free on professional battery tools. When you buy the tool, we'll throw in the battery absolutely free. Yes, you heard right. You get 1 free battery with the purchase of any Steel professional machine.
PS la fime, PS Desord, merci papa.
Visit Europa in Massad, Grosley, or call us at 452-0763. Europa, we service what we sell.
It's coming. The brunch of the century. Welcome to Sunburnt. 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 It's coming.
Attention men, are you worried about your prostate? Then get a multi-parametric MRI of the prostate done for only $1,250 from now until the end of September in commemoration of Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Don't guess, know your status. Speak to your doctor or urologist, or just make an appointment by calling any of the La Clinique de Corps branches in Castries or Rodney Bay at 451-6559. That's 451-6559.
The CPL is back for 2024, and the St. Lucia Kings are hunting for their first title. This year, it will be the best ever CPL with global superstars, massive sixes, and incredible entertainment at the biggest party in sport. There are 4 games between September 7th and 15th. Get your tickets now at cplt20.com. Turn it up and experience cricket played louder.
To have a strong structure, you must have a strong foundation. And at Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer top quality aggregate materials at great prices. We supply high quality ready mix, casting sand and plastering sand. We also take special requests for specific materials that you may require for your building projects. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
I've seen you here before, and I have something special just for you. What have we here? Happy housewarming to me? That's the MNC Home Depot rewards card. You'll earn points every time you shop, plus exclusive savings and promotions just for you. Just for me? Yes, just for you. Shop in store or online and enjoy a seamless experience. So I get to treat myself every time I shop? Exactly. It's time to reward yourself.
MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Rewards Card. Sign up and reward yourself today at www.mnchomedepot.com.
For the benefit of our caller who was suggesting that we should have a Sports Hall of Fame, somebody just informed me that we do have one. And persons inducted would have included Sir Julian R. Hunt in the 1990s, also Leo Spar St. Helen, as well as Desmond Collimo, among others. Let's continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages, but imagine being attending a press conference, a pre-cabinet press conference, and you are being cautioned by the press secretary to the Prime Minister to be on your best behavior. I thought our reporters were well-behaved. I mean, sometimes too well-behaved to be cautioned. Let's listen to the caution that was given to my fellow reporters, journalists, etc., during that pre-cabinet press briefing this week.
I ask that you obey the House rules. Remember, this is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. Let's watch how we address him. I ask that you obey the House rules. Remember, this is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. Let's watch how we address him.
Melissa Paul, Press Secretary to the Prime Minister. Remember, this is our Prime Minister. Let's watch how we address him. We have a call. Good afternoon to you via WhatsApp. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hi, Tim.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
I want to say that I kind of disagree. Disagree is the wrong word. But I want to take the idea, PW's idea, a little further. I think what should be set up, what did they say we're going to call the sports what?
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame?
And we already have one. Yes.
We already have a sports Hall of Fame?
Yes. And a number of people have been inducted.
Where is that?
Julian R. Hunt would have been inducted.
So
I don't know. I don't know if you have something set up, a building.
Physical.
Nothing physical, but I think people are inducted into this Hall of Fame.
Okay. But I thought what we really need, because we're very, very late, Tim, is to have, by whatever name, a place for national heroes. And I use the word loosely. Call it whatever you want. A word that would include some of those names I called during the week: Simmons, Walcott, all those kind of people. Mm-hmm. People who excelled in law, all the different what was the word I'm looking for?
People have excelled in different disciplines.
Yeah. And have all of those people there with appropriate literature regarding them.
Yeah.
And the building itself should serve as more than just a place to hang portraits. You know, so that it should be a room in a particular building for the purposes of something related. You know, people should be able to have a coffee and go looking at those things. Of course, what Margot tried to do is a thumbnail of what we're talking about here. But I don't think it should just be for sports people. I think it should be for people who have excelled in St. Lucia, George Odlum, or people who have excelled. A much greater, bigger thing than the minuscule, symbolic effort that Margot Thomas has set up with a lot of work, Tim. A lot of work.
Yes.
Okay. Tim, I am a little bit disturbed about this gentleman from the CDP. From everything I have been able to gather, he is a man of excellence by most accounts. And then right there, his situation with the CDP, it seems nobody knows what it is he did, except that he was under investigation by the CDP, which is supposed to be an august body as well.
Yes.
Men of high integrity, no?
Yeah, should be.
But for some reason, and I don't know why people think of those things, because they do much more harm than is intended. When somebody of that stature does something wrong, Tim, it must come out. He did something wrong. The public must be satisfied that whatever treatment is being meted out to him, he deserved it. In other words, he let everybody down with all his qualifications, let himself down, his family down, everybody who had married him, he let him down, etc. That's very, very serious. When somebody of that stature is under investigation, and then we hear that he resigns, and there is a court case, we don't know what court it was about. And in our parliament, the Prime Minister stands up there, and quite emotionally, I thought, suggested this guy had been very, very badly treated without saying one word about it. In fact, actually saying, I'm not going to say anything about it, but we're going to make him our ambassador at large. Now, this is where a good thing, Tim, ends up being an apparently not so good thing. You get my drift?
Absolutely.
Perhaps the guy definitely was badly treated. He's in a position to speak out himself. He is not. But I think before we awarded him anything, the public should know what is this bad treatment that was meted out to him, and was it deserved, unmerited, or merited? Before you take a position, there's a court case allegedly pending, and then the country, via the Prime Minister, takes a position that never again must send somebody of his position, etc., and be treated so. We already have too much of that going on, Tim. The matter of not who you are, but who you know, and sometimes who you are. We mean well. I have no doubt. Very often we mean well, but we get carried away with our emotions, our strange sense of nationalism. There are those of us who would stand in the gentleman's corner, as it is. There are those of us who would not judge him in the worst way, but instead wait to hear what it is he was accused of, what it is he did that was contrary to the rules, or did the bank go out of their way to be nasty to him? There are those of us who are giving him the benefit of the doubt, right?
Yes.
But in the correct order of things, we must know why we are giving him a tax-paid position. So, with the best intentions in the world, I think the Prime Minister might have either told us something about it or waited till that was settled and decided whether to accommodate him or not in the name of St. Lucia. What do you think of that, Tim?
That's exactly what I said in different words earlier on, Rick. That's exactly what I said earlier on. Because if we require his expertise, we require it. And I also do not know that there's a vacancy for the post of ambassador at large. And I also said earlier on...
Well, that we've ever had that.
Yeah, and I also said earlier on, we have a way of appointing such ambassadors. I mean, we only get to hear about it at some point in time through our prime ministers or ministers, but not directly. Okay, but indirectly, we hear of such appointments. What's his name of this individual? The guy with all the money, who was appointed ambassador to the St. Lucia's ambassador to the IMO.
Somebody was done that before?
A few years ago, the guy was appointed to the our ambassador to the IMO.
Are you talking about Charles Fleming?
Jufali.
Oh.
Yeah, Jufali. You understand?
Well, you see, here we go again. I was about to say that. I was about to say already we have too many appointments made with question marks over them.
Mm-hmm.
So much so, I called it St. Lucia, yet another name, the land of second chances. But we never tell people what the first chance was. Why are we giving him this particular position in the name of second chances? Because the name of second chances does not mean a big job in the government at taxpayer expense.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to mean that. The fact that you give him second chances. But usually those second chances are paid for by the taxpayer, who may not be in a mood to want to give any second chances, and has a right to say, I don't think this particular guy is worthy of this position of trust after he did what he did. Give him a second chance. Let him go and be a member of the community. Let him go and, but I don't know that it's the thing that the country, because when something is done by the government, it's to be presumed that the country is happy with that. You
Yes.
do that not in your name, but in the name of the country and all the great things the country stands for. So just giving second chances, a guy rips somebody at work, and he does his time, and he comes out. So you bring him into public service and have him in charge of a gender affairs ministry. That's a second chance too, right?
Yeah.
But that's spitting in the eye of anybody who has any sense of decency. People have to understand that they will pay for their misdeeds, because the victim of a rapist, as I always say, never recovers, Tim. Rape victims never recover. So that rape victim now is going to see this guy who's given a second chance in some role in the government at taxpayer expense. That's like rubbing salt into a wounded eye, So I have no idea. I don't know what to say about it, except that I just wish that award had been made a little later, when we knew more about the circumstances of this gentleman, who I admit, everything I've heard about him is A1. But he was under investigation. I don't know for what. He was sent home. I don't know for what. And he has not spoken. I don't know why. And the government itself, while rewarding him, again, has not told us anything about his situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rick. Let's take a final call. The landline, good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Hi, good afternoon, Timothy.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
I want to add my voice to those who have gone before me with regard to Mr. Ginley or Dr. Ginley. Timothy, how long is his contract as an ambassador at large? For what period of time is it?
I don't know. The Prime Minister did not say.
Okay. What exactly does an ambassador at large do?
The Prime Minister did not explain, but I did Google and I made reference to it earlier on, that an ambassador at large is a diplomat, a secretary, or a minister of the highest rank who is accredited to represent a country and its people internationally.
In what sphere?
I don't know in what area.
Okay, so we now have a prime minister who never knows anything, and he's turning us into a nation that doesn't know anything. I have no doubt in my mind that the gentleman is of the highest caliber. So we've been told. But it is instructive or curious to know what problems did he have with his former employers that he felt compelled to resign. There is a court case, we do not know what the outcome is going to be, because we feel that this man of such caliber, of such stature, should be given a job. But it's something that Rick Wayne has lamented year after year after year after year, that all of these best brains can only be utilized in government, and they cannot be utilized, or they cannot make their services in the private sector. They cannot make it in the private sector. With all of these best brains, you cannot find a way to pivot all of your experience into the private sector, generating employment for St. Lucians. You have to be an onerous burden on the backs of St. Lucians. And it irks me, because at the end of the day, you, with all of your experience, should be in a position, you advise governments, you should be in a position to pivot that experience into the private sector. Not be a burden to the very government that you would be advising on how to get out of economic despair. Now you're going to be a part of that despair, because you're going to be adding to our bloated civil service, or ambassadorial services. And we do not even know what service you provide. It's like me hiring somebody to just come. Oh, but you know what though? We have done this because we have a special prosecutor. We do not know what he's working on. Nobody has ever told us anything. He's drawing a salary on the backs of taxpayers, and we do not know what he's working on. Who is he going to be prosecuting? It is just so sad that we as St. Lucians, we cannot open our eyes to this maladministration. We keep doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting a different result. It reminds me of the last term of Kenny Anthony, when he instituted all of those ambassadors just before elections. And they lost the elections, and they went into the term almost halfway through the term of the next administration, and the new administration could not do anything because they were saddled with those ambassadors who were not loyal to the country but to party. We have to stop this thing. The Prime Minister owes us answers to these questions. I do not want to be a Massab person. We already have a Massab tree, so to my mind, it is enough. We have a Massab Prime Minister, it is enough. We do not want to have a nation of Massab sheeple. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. Our final feature is the NewsSpin News of the Day. The NewsSpin News of the Day reads, judges may soon have to run for election in Mexico. Critics say that's bad news for its democracy. Judges may soon have to run for election in Mexico. Critics say that's bad news for its democracy. And that's our NewsSpin News of the Day, as well as the NewsSpin broadcast for today. This is the most monitored talk show of the world. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.